father and son
Yeah.
are driving a car. They get into a car accident. The dad dies. The son gets rushed into A&E.
Yeah.
The surgeon says, I cannot operate. This is my son. Who's the surgeon?
Oh my gosh!
Well, it could be his biological father because he's adopted.
The father of the boy.
A ghost? A priest?
The surgeon's the dad.
The father?
There was a surgeon.
Either his stepfather or biological father.
His brother.
Surgeon's the mother.
Good morning, everybody. We kindly invite you to be seated. Take your seats, please.
Che parla di un po' d'abbondanza, no? Non c'è abbondanza, lo possiamo scollegare e riattaccare dopo? No, io quando c'è un momento arrivo qua, lo vedo qua sotto.
Buongiorno, Gianluca.
Ora sei attivo. Ok, no, spegni.
Adesso lo spiego, ricordati comunque se non passi sei
Prima? Sì, no.
Computer mi
lo teniamo noi e quando lui viene su glielo passiamo. Ok? Non ti preoccupare. Per le slide, questo è avanti e questo è indietro. Adesso lo teniamo noi che passiamo alla gente, cioè prima dell'agenda, no? Prima abbiamo questo, la teniamo lì. Vengono su loro a fare il saluto. Io e poi io e poi voi. Ok, esatto. Io vi passo la roba. Please. Prova. Please, everyone, take your seat. Go rescue your friends at the bar, please. If anyone is still at the bar, go rescue them.
Quantità per tutti, quindi prego. A volte avere paper aiuta un po'.
Nascondi le famiglie che non si vedano.
Maurizio rappresenta il Dipartimento di Management e Emanuele rappresentante della scuola di Economia e Management. Lui è il presidente della scuola di Economia e Management, non di Scienze Aziendali, di Economia e Management, della School. Maurizio è il direttore di Scienze Aziendali.
Partiamo? Tanto quando cominciamo a parlare.
Sì, è sbagliato perché scuola di Economia e Management.
Good morning, everyone. We are so happy to see you. Thank you. Okay, before we begin with the tight agenda of today, let me please call Maurizio Sobrero, direttore della Scuola di Scienze Aziendali, to just give us a quick intro.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Nice to be here. The only person I haven't seen is actually the one that made all this possible, which is Carlo Boschetti, who should be around. I'm the head of the Department of Management, where your course belongs to. So very, very happy to see all these people, and many, many thanks to Carlo, who started this a long while ago and had the long vision of investing in this mixed English and Italian program. So it is very nice that today the weather also will give a wonderful location, the best of the colors that you can have for the day of today. Just a quick word why this is very important for us. It is important because we see the ambassadors of all we do here at the University of Bologna and in the department, so we really look forward to this day as an opportunity for you to get together and give us ideas, energy, help, and connections with the forthcoming students and the future generations. So thanks a lot for the organizer and for you for being here, and I will be back here for lunch and for the afternoon, so thanks again for everything else.
Thank you so much, Maurizio Sobrero. And now let me call Emanuele Menegatti, President of della Scuola di Economia e Management.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And I'm the brand new dean, actually, of the School of Economics Management. I'm really impressed by this reunion, and it makes me very optimistic about the future of our school, our students. Actually, we are optimistic about our school because, according to the stats, we are the best business school in Italy, and our students are very well placed on the labor market. The Lambda students, they are incredibly well placed in the labor market. I checked some stats before coming here, and I saw, for example, that 90% of the students from the Lambda are employed after 3 years after the degree. And this is, I think, impressive. And the students, so you are very brilliant students, and we hope to be among the best European business school. Probably I'm a bit exaggerating, but I think that a reunion like this, your energy, as Maurizio said, can make this possible. So thank you very much for this, and I really look forward to meet you after and to listen to your speech or your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Emanuele Menegatti. Now let me introduce you to Antonio Danieli, General Director of Opificio Golinelli, who will tell us a little bit more about the amazing place we are in today.
One moment, please. Okay. No, preferisco. Good morning. My name is Antonio Danieli. I'm the General Director and a board member of Golinelli Foundation. I'm also CEO of G Factor, the new incubator accelerator of Golinelli Foundation. Today, I would like that Opificio Golinelli could be a factor for an inspiring experience, not simply a place for your meeting, but a part of your meeting. So I prepared a short welcome speech for you describing Fondazione Golinelli and Opificio Golinelli's vision, history and activities with the support of a few slides. Our founder and honorary president Marino Golinelli established the Golinelli Foundation in 1988. Since then, the foundation is a national reference point in the field of education, training and culture. Golinelli Foundation is a private, independent operating institution, and we manage it with entrepreneurial approach, and it represents a unique model in Italy with a global, strategic and philanthropic vision. The social responsibility of the organization strictly reproduces Marino Golinelli social citizenship. Today, the Foundation is addressing its action to the most innovative research fields and is supporting new innovative business ideas, aiming at becoming also a national and an international reference point in the field of technical and scientific innovation. Golinelli Foundation Long-Term Development Program started 3 years ago. The founder called it Opus 2065 because it connects our vision and our strategic goals with an important time horizon. In the picture, we can see the 4 main operative units for the foundation: arts and sciences, school and education, research and training, enterprises. I will explain our activities. This place is our home, Opificio Golinelli. It was born in October 2015, and since then almost 300,000 participants, young people, children, students, parents, teachers, entrepreneurs, men and women of culture, have had access to this large city of knowledge, innovation and culture. Here we are in the main building dedicated to school. And then you can see in the front of the principal building, Art Sciences Center. On the other side of the picture, we can see the new building, which will be open soon, by the first weeks of the new year. In fact, Opificio Golinelli will enlarge during next year, on February, with the opening of the new incubator accelerator G-Factor. The Arts and Sciences Center is a sort of cultural think tank, a place of imagination and experimentation, a research center designed to imagine the future, to fertilize and orient other units of the foundation. Actually, our organization is a sort of philanthropic holding. So, Golinelli Foundation controls 3 different sub-organizations: G-Lab, to enlarge at national level education and training activities, G-Factor, which was created to manage the new incubator accelerator, and Eureka, which is a trust dedicated for fundraising activities. Now, Opificio Golinelli is an open ecosystem for innovation with all the necessary steps of a process totally dedicated to production, connect with the others. Incubator Accelerator G-Factor for emerging entrepreneurial realities enables new entrepreneurs to grow with an understanding approach following scientific and market principles with the support of customized incubator and accelerator programs. G-Factor, in the middle of the Golinelli Foundation ecosystem, is between 2 pillars: young education and training system, and on the other side, the venture capital sector and the market. Conclusions. Training for young people must aim to stimulate not only attitudes and abilities, but also the human personality. We are waiting for an even more complex world, interconnected, unpredictable, exponential, but full of possibilities. So we need to open younger generations' minds and deliver them a new toolbox to deal with the future with confidence. Education, training and culture help to ask the right questions, to define why and how, even before asking what. This is crucial if you want to create benefit in the future society. An entrepreneur, a manager or an economist, a professional, an artisan, a researcher, a designer, an artist who want to create value in the future must possess some fundamental tools: curiosity, imagination, creativity, passion, courage. Benefit from now on can only be such if we are able to hold art, science, and technology together. Culture is all this. Education and training are the keys to success. In all artistic, scientific, production, and technological fields, we must introduce these keys universally. Thanks for your attention. I hope that after this occasion, our way could cross in the future. Enjoy your meeting, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And now, please let me introduce Eugenia Rossi di Schio, delegata del Magnifico Rettore alle relazioni università e impresa.
So thank you everybody for being here. I'm here on behalf of Professor Francesco Bertini, Director of the Alma Mater Studiorum, University of Bologna, just to give you a warm welcome. We are really happy to have you all here, and thank you to the organizer for having organized this wonderful day and surely this wonderful experience. Today we have an alumni, the mother that feeds us with knowledge, with culture, with competences, and also with relations. And today we will use those relationships. The friendships that we make during the university very often last longer than the university period, a lifetime. And it's a great opportunity to meet today with your classmates, with your seniors, with your juniors, with your faculty, and to share this wonderful experience. So today, stay involved and enjoy your day, and starting from tomorrow, bring with you the warmth and the education of the Alma Mater Studiorum, and be the best ambassadors of our university all over the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, guys. Now that the officiality of the introductory address is over, I really want you to enter your wild mode. Turn on the wild mode, and please make me hear some serious noise. Okay, it's Friday, it's 10 in the morning. Let me reformulate the request. Make me hear some fucking noise. Okay, guys, now, before passing the ball to Elena and Gianluca, they will set the agenda of the day, I just want to make a couple of observations. One fact, I want to share with you one fact and one observation. Start with the fact. There's a very simple fact, and the fact is the following. Guys, we are amazing. We really are amazing. Today, officially, we have joined the Club of Records. We did break a record. Emanuele, the president of the School of Economics, officialized it not later than 10 minutes ago. This is the largest reunion ever organized within the School of Management and Economics for the entire history of the School of Management and Economics. Very good. And to be quite honest, I'm pretty confident that this is also, for a single laurea magistrale, the largest reunion ever organized in the entire University of Bologna, at least in the modern time, okay? I'm pretty sure.
Woo!
Okay. Now, about the observation. The observation is also simple, but it's very, very meaningful. If we are here today, it's because we have had an extraordinarily committed group of people who have made this happen. And the only incentive that they have had over the past months has been to create a memorable experience for you all. So I really want to mention them, because at the very end, when I will have completed the list, I really want you to give them a super big applause, because they deserve it. I had to write them down because they are so many, but I promise I will be quick. but I really want to mention them because they did a fantastic job. First of all, an admirable group of students and alumni, who worked honestly for months, try to plan everything meticulously for this event, meeting, Skype call and conferences every single Monday or Tuesday for the past 4 or 5 months, incredible, and scattered throughout the globe. One of the organizers told me that they were typically having conferences in 3 or 4 different time zones. And the people are Lorenzo Bezzi, Marco Biasin, Guido Carlo Bora, Elena Galli, Daniele Graverini, Stefano Mazzolini, Luca Neretti, Alessia Pischedda, Chiara Quaglia, Simone Raffuzzi, Giovanni Saccà, Simona Sansavini, Gianluca Venturi. Don't applaud at the end, okay? Then the team of volunteers who worked their ass off to organize the check-in, the setup, and everything, Rachele, Sofia, Giulia. The Friends of Start You Up, I don't know whether they are here, Onno and Cillo for helping us with the administration of the fundraising. Then the entire administrative unit of the management department led by Alessandra Manavolta, who had to fix all sorts of contractual reimbursement issue, transactional, and it took them, believe me, a lot of patience. Oh, by the way, Marco Palmieri, the CEO and founder of Piquadro, he's one of the sponsors. He sent us very cool gadgets, gifts, and merchandise. You will see them later. So thank you, Marco, and thank you, Piquadro. Of course, our host, Antonio Danieli, for this wonderful opportunity to be here. Luca Neretti, the tutor of the reunion, for his dedication. It was incredible. My super amazing, generous partner in this completely crazy project, Stefano Mengoli, who is the deputy director of CLAMDA. And I would say probably last, but definitely not least, the pillar, the soul, the cornerstone of this event, Cristina Riccardi. For all these guys, a very big thank you. And of course, also to my predecessors here, you know, we experimented this format. At the time, the director was Andrea Liparini, together with Marco Bigelli and Carlo Boschetti, who is the founding father of the CLAMDA International Management. So they are also included in the big applause. Now, Elena and Gianluca, I pass it to you for setting the agenda, okay?
Thank you so much, Simone. Thank you so much. Okay, so now let's come to the boring part of the day. Woo! So I hope you guys are prepared. I hope you brought food and drinks and beverage and a sleeping bag maybe, because this is the agenda of today. No, I'm just joking, but yes, this is the agenda of today. So a very tight schedule, but very rich in wonderful guests, wonderful activities. We'll listen to very inspirational speakers. We'll do a live art performance, all of us together. We will hear and listen to wonderful alumni stories. And also, we will ask for your feedback on what we can improve on CLAMDA. So it will be a very interactive day. And we're really excited and looking forward to all of it. And yes, this is it. Tweet and post your photos. You see the hashtags there? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. So here we have our list of guest speakers. Thanks to everyone who's here today. We introduce them, of course, one by one. We'll go through them. And then we'll also have alumni speakers that will tell us their stories. Some are from the Italian part, and some are from the English part, and we'll listen to them in the afternoon. So now, here the feedback. So any feedback you might have to improve the course, to improve international management or direzione aziendale, please make sure you go on menti.com. It's pretty easy, menti.com, and use the codes. Take pictures if you want, then we'll show it afterwards. So these are the codes to leave the feedback. And as Ellie said, whenever you have something to post, use the hashtag. We are all CLAMDA and 10 times EM.
And we know how many you are, so we will know if you haven't participated in the survey. So you better note down the code, go on menti.com, and please share your feedbacks all throughout the day. We will share the results live later on this afternoon, but it's very important for all of you to please share your feedbacks. Awesome. Okay.
We start? Let's
Yes.
start? Okay. With our first guest speaker. Are you ready?
So I would like you to start with a very warm applause for our first guest speaker of today, Oscar Di Montigny. Chief Innovation, Sustainability and Value Strategy at Banca Mediolanum, ideator and founder of the Mediolanum Corporate University and Chief Executive Officer of Mediolanum Communications.
He's ideator of the concept of Economy 0.0. He's a best-selling author of the book Time of the New Heroes, and he's an international motivational speaker in World Business Forum and many international events. Please let me introduce Oscar Di Montigny.
Okay. Wow. Thank you. No, I got it. Good morning. Does anybody want to sit in front here? Please. So since they're going to connect the computer to the system, it's very useful for a speaker to have someone sitting in front instead of having an empty space. So I'm praying you to come and sit here.
Come on,
You're very good in being very noisy and funny, but so you're supposed to be one of the best business schools in the world. You should have the chance to sit in front and give a support.
We are not at the university, no questions.
I'm not going to ask you any question.
So don't worry, guys,
Yeah, exactly.
don't worry.
You know why? It's a matter of responsibility, you know? When you go in a room and you start listening to someone who's supposed to talk to you, you feel, the first feeling that you have is, that's the same feeling that as a speaker I realized that the audience had traveling the world. It's exactly the same all over the place. From Japan to South America, I've been in New York, Colombia, Mexico City. No one sits in front. And everybody thinks that it's enough to sit and listen. This time requires huge responsibilities. And I was looking at you, listening to the people who spoke before me, and I thought, wow, this is an amazing place, this is an amazing crowd. Why amazing? Because I think you are the only possible solution the world has in this very amazing, awesome, unique, terrible epoch that we are living in. Okay? So this is the commitment. So thanks for coming. Who's going to be my time? You. Okay, we're starting.
We are starting.
Okay. So before we start, let me ask you, who is an optimist in the room, naturally? We're not necessarily the best ones, okay? It's just a flow. Okay. Pessimist? Ah, there's a concentration over there. This is going to be a scary place to sit, okay? Realist. You could be a realist and optimist. Realist and pessimist, you are kind of, stay away from me, but okay. Sorry, realist? Any realist pessimist? 1, 2. Okay. How many heroes in the room? Heroes. 1, 2, 3. No way. I wish you were, but I didn't see so many hands. So I can ask you once again, so maybe there are some shy heroes. Heroes are not shy. Any heroes in the room? The same. Okay, a couple of more, okay. If you go on Wikipedia and you look at the meaning of the word hero, I don't like too much Wikipedia, but I have to accept the fact that Wikipedia right now became the come si dice enciclopedia in Italiano? Encyclopedia, okay. This is what you might find. A hero is any person who does an extraordinary and generous act of courage which might result in the conscious sacrifice of himself to protect the good of others. How many here in the room? Last chance. Someone left. Okay. Any person, the good of others. So this is one of the main topics I want to talk to you about this morning. It doesn't have to sound like a metaphor. It's something really realistic. Why? Sorry if the sentence is in English, but this is a picture of a friend of mine, and I want to use it. So this is Paul Valéry, and as you can see, basically in English it would be the future is not going to be the same that it used to be, okay? I've been studying the last 19 years with the philosophers, thinkers, scientists, artists, and economists around the world, how the world might be tomorrow. So my studies, I'm not necessarily an expert, but let's say that I've been studying those topics from these 4 different perspectives. Again, philosophy, art, science, and economy, how the future might be tomorrow, okay? So I'd like to share some points of view on it. But I'm very confident that what Paul Valéry said years ago, actually many years ago, is very actual in this epoch. The future is not going to be what it used to be for centuries. You might find something in the book that I wrote, but I will go through it later on because I'm not here to sell any book. In the book, I tell the story about my meeting with the Dalai Lama that was in when was it? 2014. We met for a few minutes, very intense, very deep. And I had the chance to ask to His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama if this sentence was actually his sentence or not. You know, when we find sentences on Facebook, you never know if they really belong to the people that they're supposed to belong to. There aren't humans born under good stars or bad stars, but only humans who know or do not know how to read the stars. And he told me yes. I said it. So you can be sure that this sentence belonged to him. Why do I want to talk to you about the capability to read the stars? Because it's very important in this epoch for people like you, actually also for people like me, but I'm a bit older than you, so you have an advantage, okay? You must be very careful and good in reading stars. You know, if centuries ago when they went sailing, it was enough for them, for dead people sailing the oceans, to have the capability to read the signs. Okay? Because when you know how to read the signs on the scenery, on the landscape, you know how to move, where to go. And you know if it's time to stop and wait, or if it's time to rush, or just to sail. So I will try to put some dots on your paper today, okay? Some stars. You might already know those stars. You might already know that those stars are existing. But I will try to offer you my perspective in one of the many possible ways to connect those dots, okay? But the reason why I came here from Milan this morning is to put in the possibility to draw your own scenery, okay? Because don't believe anybody telling you that's the way to connect stars. Or at least this is the only way to do things. Because the future is not gonna be what it used to be for centuries. So, let me give you some advices. Let me point you some stars in your sky about those 3 milestones on your future that are supposed to be 3 main times when things will appear totally different to everybody. The fact is not to look at the sky when everything is already clear for everybody. You must have a capability to know in advance what is going to happen in order to be ready, in order to be able to drive the change instead of being driven by the change. Because because in that case, it's going to be too late. You're going to buy what marketers want you to buy. Have you seen the movie Fight Club? Okay. There's a moment when Brad Pitt and Edward Norton are sitting at the table, and Brad Pitt, who's a very cool, super sexy and amazing, awesome guy, and he say to Brad Pitt, to Edward Norton, you know what? We buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't like. That's how marketing works. To make you buy things you don't need with money that you do not have to impress people that you do not like. Now the question is, why do you buy that shit? So, based on World Economic Forum, World Business Forum researchers, any kind of people looking at the future, those 3 times are when everything will appear clear to everybody, okay? So I want to tell you something in advance. There will be 4 big trends reshaping entirely the planet, the world, our lives by 2030, 2030, and 45. First, demography. We are observing a huge movement of people, and by people I mean culture, money, power, not just poor people, moving from east to west and from south to north. My generation, probably yours also, is the last generation of a culture centuries old, where we observe people moving from west to east and from north to south. UK moving, and French people moving to North America. People from Portugal and Spain moving to South America. People moving from Belgium, France, Germany, Austria, Italy, moving to Africa, conquering countries. This has happened for centuries. Now the flow has changed. Is there anybody coming from Milan? Or have you ever been in Milan, in Paolo Sarpi Street? Have you ever been in Chinatown in Milan? Okay. Don't look at Chinese as you look at them. Who bought AC Milan and FC International? The soccer teams. Chinese. That's demography. That's economy. Who is the strongest economy in the world at the moment? China. That's demography. You must be very careful. The marketers wants you to look at demography as a movement of poor people moving to a country to another one. Look at this. 10,000 years before Christ till now. This is the growth of the population on the planet. So do you have any relative who was born by 1930 or something? Who? Okay. Did they ever tell you something about how to do things, how to behave? And if you didn't have anyone, your parents were told by them how to do it, and they told you the same, they were told, okay? So if you look at this, it should be very clear to you how fast the growth has been in the very few years. Human society doesn't have the capability to reshape so fastly the way we behave. I'm just telling you that, how many are we today in the morning in this room? 200, okay. I'm just telling you that in few months, if instead of 200 we might be 400, and after a few months 800, and after a few months 1.6, the social rules are going to change extremely fastly, and you will not be ready to face the same relationship that you are facing right now with the people sitting next to you. You're going to kill each other. And no way. You're going to fight for food, for drink, for seat, for breathing. You know what I mean? Things are changing fast. So the question is, how will you sell? I'm sorry, the lesson doesn't work. At the bar of the corner, how will they sell to those 2 women the same bottle of water? Which is going to be the storytelling? Which is going to be the cost? Which is going to be the reason why they should buy the bottle of water from that bar? This is new. This situation, this condition belong to your generation, not to mine. And looking at the distribution of economy on the planet, you have to know that the urban areas will grow extremely fast. Look at those numbers, 8.3 billion of people on the planet, 0.8 millions of economy concentrated just in 40 big, huge cities, megalopolis, and 80% of the global GDP will be concentrated just in urban areas. So second message, try to be extremely focused on the new economies appearing on the scenery just in urban areas and on the rural areas. It depends where you're living, where you'll be working, okay? Second, huge trends that will reshape the planet in the future. The way we lived, the way we occupied, and by we I mean my generation, this planet is out of stock, is done. Another information, another star, another dot on your sky. Just in the last 25 years, maybe you were just a little kid, I don't know, is there anybody younger than 25? Okay, you were not even here, okay? In such a short time, we destroyed 10% of something that lived on this planet for centuries, for millions of years. Have you ever heard the Earth Overshoot Day? Do you know what it is? It's the day when the Earth has its capability to offer to humans resources based on the quantity of resources that we ask the planet. If you see, when I was born, actually I was born in 1969, we were almost perfect, okay? 1 year to consume the capability. Look where we are in 2018. Half of the path, July, 100% consume the capability. So this means that the planet starts using le sue riserve, its own reserves. Half. If we do not want to change the way we live in our country, we should need 4.5 countries based on the capability that our land has to offer us what we are requiring. And since our land doesn't have those resources, we're going to occupy other countries, sometimes commercially, sometimes thanks to wars. I hope you don't trust anyone telling you that we are battling some religious wars, right? Third, huge trends, technology. I'm just listening to you few topics about technology because I don't want to be focused on technology, because by the end of the talk, I'd like to share my ideas about technology. But if I should just list few topics along the technology path, along the technology trend, these are the main drivers in the technology trends. IoT, IoE, by 2030 there will be 1 trillion of devices interconnected on the world, okay? Everything will be printed on 3D, everything, clothes, human organs, everything, bridges, buildings, everything. Open your mind and let the idea enter, everything, everything, everything. Augmented reality, virtual reality, is going to reshape your brain. Everything will go on blockchain. Artificial intelligence will try to steal your works. The data growth is going to be one of the main topics. If you can study data science, because it's one of the main jobs that will be required by any kind of industry, basically what is going to happen is we are going to move as a human species from a linear approach to life into an exponential approach to life. What does it mean? It means that based on the fact that we are moving from, you're very young, sorry about the picture, you should be able to smile without judging. All those trends, technological trends, based on the fact that the web is going to be free, which is actually not, but you believe it's free. put this sentence in your mind. Anytime you go on the web and you get a product for free, you are the product, okay? Again, anytime you go on the web, you get a product and or a service for free, you are the product. That's it. Second, everything will go through the mobile. I have 5 kids from 9 to 21. Wherever I'm gonna offer them as a proposal to go on vacation, the mountains, ocean, Caribbean, Cortina d'Ampezzo, whatever. The only question is, there is Wi-Fi. They don't care. So free web, which is actually not free, but let's say it is. And this equation, we're done. Why I'm telling you this? Because when I tell you that technology is going to reshape life on the planet, I'm telling you the culture is changing. Your grandparents might not even appreciate a picture like this because their brain is unable to contain the possibility that this can happen. When I was telling you about IoT and IoE, I'm just telling you that even your generation never played with friends like they are doing, right? The fact they are playing with those glasses means that their brains is going to be reshaped and designed by the experience that they are having, because our brain is a plastic organ shaped by the experience, materially shaped, okay? It's not a metaphor. So depending on what you do, the way you behave, the way you sit, the way you talk, the way you dress, the way you experience materially, daily, your life, your brain is going to be reshaped. That means that your neurological processes have been shaped in a very much different way from mine. And in this generation, we are observing the huge shift. The generations are shorter and shorter, and the change is faster and faster. It's not like in the past, when the habits used to be those habits for years and years, offering the communities the capability to change slowly in order to accept the changes appearing on the sky. Can you follow? So if it is going faster, we must be fast. Look at this picture and look at this information. So when I say that IoT and IoE are going to reshape everything, it means that they will start since the next generation will be just kids. So when they will be older, then when they will be spender, when they will be voter, they will ask the word new question. Did it ever happen in your life? Do you have a little son or a little cousin or whatever? In this case, this little Chinese girl has a neurological process much different from yours. She grew up with a world filtered by a screen, a mobile screen. So when she enters a dining room now and she sees a huge mobile screen, she asks for question, which that screen is unable to give. This is a neurological process. Have you ever been at the Singularity University, or at least have you ever heard about the Singularity University in Silicon Valley? None of you. Some, okay. It's supposed to be the most advanced place on the planet. It's based in the NASA research camp. I've been there for 10 days twice. We were 82, just 2 from Europe, actually, and I had the chance to meet this guy, Ray Kurzweil. Have you ever heard of Ray Kurzweil? No, okay. You. He's supposed to be one of the 100 most influenced people on the planet, at least considered by time in the last century, for his capability to preview what is going to happen in the future, okay? And the Singularity University is supposed to be, as I was saying, the most advanced place on the planet in a very specific field, looking at technology as something that is going to reshape our lives. So there are researchers 100% focused on fintech, technology and finance, robotech, technology and robots, health tech, medicine, biotech, biology, gentech, genetics, and so on, okay? In this place, I've seen something like this. Look.
We could build a little thing that could control a giant thing.
Can you imagine a world in which the deaf can hear? A world where we can give the terminally ill a perspective. A future even. A world in which we all grow older. Our food is healthier, feeding not just a few, but everyone. Without exhausting our planet's resources. A world in which we have answers to problems now deemed unsolvable, where we can control the flow of water, harness the devastating force of hurricanes to come, and where we can sleep safely behind our dikes and dams. A world in which roads are less hazardous, where education is greatly enhanced and made accessible to all human beings. We can make the world so much better, healthier, safer, more friendly even. We are at the verge of a new beginning, a time of virtually limitless possibility. Developments in technology will snowball in all directions and all dimensions. One milestone after another is reached at dazzling speeds. What seems unthinkable today may well be real tomorrow. The question is not whether this vision will ever become reality. The answer is simple. It will. That's for certain. The real question is, can you imagine it? Can you see yourself catching this exponentially growing wave of new technology and riding it straight into the future? If you can, then the rest will follow. Try it. You'll be amazed.
This video was used 2 years ago to promote this event offered by the Singularity University for the first time in Italy. Actually, it was in Milan. I was one of the speakers. That's the reason why I can use this video in public. This is the word that is coming. This is real. This is not a joke. This is not a probable future. This is already reality. The main question is if you, me, us, if we can imagine it and if you want to try it. Why? Because, as I told you, we are living here. This is a tipping point of human evolution. We are entering an exponential epoch, led by an exponential growth, going with an exponential speed. In my book, there is another story, because I tell in the book about many meetings that I had the chance to have, which is the meeting that I had with this lady. This lady is Tara Gandhi. She's the daughter of the fourth son of the Mahatma Gandhi. I think you know the Mahatma Gandhi, who is. Now, there's nothing to laugh, because when I travel the world, there's a lot of people a bit younger than you who they do not know who Nelson Mandela is, Martin Luther King is, the Mahatma Gandhi is. That scares me, but that's reality as well. And she told me, Oscar, my grandfather, she grew up in the ashram with the Mahatma Gandhi. My grandfather used to tell me when I was 14 years old, Tara, the speed doesn't make the difference if you go in the wrong direction. Again, the speed, exponential today, doesn't make the difference if you go in the wrong direction. So, since the future is not going to be the future that it used to be for centuries, even our story might not have a nice end this time. And I'm very serious. And that's the only reason why I accepted the invitation to come here because usually I travel the world paid to do it. I'm not going to be paid today because you can make the difference. Let me explain you. The only authority that we can now say you must change your life is the global crisis. It has authority because it appeals to something unthinkable for which it is the prelude, the potential worldwide catastrophe. We are an amazing species, okay, as humans. We have been able to divide the autumn, but we didn't learn yet how to divide bread. You are a very special mind. If you are sitting in this room so young, it means that you are a very special mind. This year was the 70th anniversary, actually 60th anniversary of the Chart of the Human Rights. I hope you at least read once that chart. If you didn't, well, these holidays, go home and read that fucking list. Because it tells about your rights, but also about your duties. Because when you see on the television the news, or you read newspapers, it's late, you know? It's already happened. They tell you something that is happening, or that is already happened. And I'm telling you about events like this. Events like this, events like this. And they tell you about globalization, for example, okay? So let me tell you something about this amazing word that didn't even exist months ago, few months ago, okay, but years ago. 2016, 1% of the population on the planet, you, me, us, 90% of the richness. 62 people in 2016 were as rich as 3.5 billion of people on the planet. And that was 2016. 2 years before, the number was higher, 80. 2 years before, 2010, the number was much higher, 388. Last year and this year, the number of people possessing a richness as big as 3.5 billion on the planet was just 8. So what I'm saying, globalization is working, but it's not bringing prosperity, because the richness is going to be in an exponential scale, concentrated just in very few hands. I'm not judging those 8 people, not at all. I'm just saying that there isn't any possible system that wants to survive where 8 can have as much as 3.5. This is physics. This is math. It's not just philosophy. It's something material. And this number is the global debt. 325% of the global debt. 70 billions of those 250, 1/3, was produced in the last 10 years. Another little star in your sky. I didn't come here to bring you bad news. I came here to bring you good news, but the good news comes at the end. So you must resist. So the system didn't work, it's not working, might not work. So this is the nice part. Because I saw you worried and say, come on, this is Friday, the vacation has just started, this is a party for us. Only bad news? No. These are information. These are not information, these are data, okay? I put on your, in your sky just real data, not informations, okay? There is no judge. Then, as I said, connect the dots in your own and possible way. But please, connect the dots. If you don't want to connect the dots, stay home and don't bother, okay? Because, as Martin Luther King said, it might be you're not responsible for the situation where you're living in, but you will be if you will not do anything to change it back to yours, okay? So, I think, and again, this is the main reason why I came here and accepting the invitation. You are the only possible change makers on the planet. And not just because you are young, you are the new generation, you are the future, no, because your brains work in a different way from mine. It's a scientific logic approach. You grow up in a system in such a way that now you have the possibility to give answer to the new questions. The old generation, they cannot. They can try. And talking about technology, you are the best technology living on the planet.
You know, I've done records where...
No, we don't have time for this. I have to be 40, right? I have to be perfect. Okay, so I don't have time. I will share the video. That was an amazing video about, okay, no, I don't want to lose time. So sorry, it was very interesting. So, demography, environment, technology, the fourth driver that is going to lead the change in the future is going to be, thanks God, ethics, values, behaviors. So my personal belief is that the real evolution tomorrow is not going to be a revolution battled in the street. It's going to be the re-evolution of consciousness, okay? First of all, we have to fight against mediocrity. What mediocrity is this. There is something happening in the world, good or bad, depending on your point of view, and we think, who cares? I have my own business, my family, my staff, my job, my kids, my future, my family, my car. My proposal is, I hope you saw Matrix. Have you seen it? Obviously, not necessarily. Blue pill, red pill. Blue pill, you study, you work, trying to be as much as you can on your right-hand side of the picture. Thinking that you will lead as many people as you can, but trust me, you will be led by someone. And if you won't be someone, will be the law, will be God, will be the church, will be the government, someone telling you something. The only possibility I see is to battle like this. Just remain whoever you are, but try to produce a shift into the system, within the system, not battling the system. How? Two main forces. First, you must know, I underline must, that based on the new discoveries of the quantum physics, we are all living in a system interconnected with things, with others, with the planet. This is science, it's not philosophy anymore. We are all interconnected in a magnetic field. So if I'm 100% interconnected with Mariangela, the only possibility that I have to dedicate time and sources and efforts to my life is to do the same with her life. And you are 200. If I do this for 200, I will get back 200 times. You know what I mean? And if I do not care of her, I will have back this do not care with the same quantity. This is sustainability. It's not philosophy. This is science. You are interconnected. Second, innovation. Everybody talks about innovation like technology and whatever. Innovation is very, very simple. If you go in the vocabulary, you will find the capability to alter the established order of things to do new things. So what do we mean by the verb, by establish and by new? The key word is innovability. Innovation for sustainability. And the main key word is responsibility, which is the ability to give responses. World Economic Forum, the most important event on the planet to share about future. 2017, they were talking about responsive and responsible leadership. So when I say responsibility, it's a key word. I'm saying that this is what the world is going to asking you. It's going to ask you in the future. Example, this. This is a question, you know what I mean? This is, the material is plastic. When the plastic was invented, the plastic in the 40s, no, between 50s and 60s. If you miss the date when the plastic was invented, you miss the point, because this is the result. Less than 100 years, something that wasn't even existing when your grandparents were living on the planet, already occupies a huge area in the Pacific Ocean as big as Central Europe, 3 meters deep. Second information, how much does it take for a plastic bottle to disappear naturally from the planet? 100 years, no, 450 years. You missed the second point. Because if you miss when it was invented, how much do we have on the planet? How much does it take to disappear? You don't care. Because you don't have the measure of the problem. And you spend your life dedicated to something that won't be possible tomorrow, because there won't be the place to live in, you know? So who cares about your life and your job? Because there won't be life and job. By 2050, more plastic than fish. Doesn't sound weird? So, since we're sitting here, good news are that Ocean the Third, this year, the largest cleanup in history operation started. The ocean cleanup, founded by a 17-year-old Dutch guy, thanks God. Youngest ever recipient of UN's highest environment award and money. A rich guy with a lot of followers on Instagram. Not because he's selling bullshit on the web, because he's taking care of her life. Machines are for answers. Humans are for questions. Otherwise, we will misunderstand the point. Technology, 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 singularity university, Nazi people, scary people. This is a question, this is a very clear question. And Boyan Zlat, the Dutch guy, had the capability to give an answer, at least to try. Have you seen this little girl in this month? Who did not? Okay, fine. She's a 17-year-old little girl, Swedish. This Friday, today, is the 17th Friday that she doesn't go to school. She's on stroke. She sits in front of the school and she says, why should we study to live in a world that is going to disappear? She's 17 years old, and the system became global. Movement that spread globally.
My name is Greta Thunberg. I am 15 years old, and I'm from Sweden. I speak on behalf of Climate Justice Now.
We're in Katowice,
Many people
Poland.
say that Sweden is just a small country and it doesn't matter what we do. But I've learned that you are never too small to make a difference. And if a few children can get headlines all over the world just by not going to school, then imagine what we could all do together if we really wanted to. But to do that, we have to speak clearly, no matter how uncomfortable that may be. You only speak of green, eternal economic growth because you are too scared of being unpopular. You only talk about moving forward with the same bad ideas that got us into this mess, even when the only sensible thing to do is pull the emergency brake. You are not mature enough to tell it like it is.
Fantastic.
Even that
You're
burden
not mature enough.
you leave to us children. But I don't care about being popular. I care about climate justice and a living planet. Our civilization is being sacrificed for the opportunity of a very small number of people to continue making enormous amounts of money. Our biosphere is being sacrificed so that rich people in countries like mine can live in luxury. It is the sufferings of the many which pay for the luxuries of the few. The year 2078, I will celebrate my 75th birthday. If I have children, maybe they will spend that day with me. Maybe they will ask me about you. Maybe they will ask why you didn't do anything while there still was time to act. You say you love your children above all else, and yet you are stealing their future in front of their very eyes. Until you start focusing on what needs to be done, rather than what is politically possible, there is no hope. We cannot solve a crisis without treating it as a crisis. We need to keep the fossil fuels in the ground, and we need to focus on equity. And if solutions within this system are so impossible to find, then maybe we should change the system itself. We have not come here to beg world leaders to care. You have ignored us in the past, and you will ignore us again. We have run out of excuses, and we are running out of time. We have come here to let you know that change is coming, whether you like it or not. The real power belongs to the people. Thank you.
"17 years old, and she doesn't have yet a beautiful mind like you already have. She didn't walk such a beautiful path that you already walked. Now the question is, if you want to be a machine being programmed by life, by marketers, or if you want to be a human, considering yourself a project. She has a project, that's clear. So to reach fastly the end, but going deeply at the point. Money, and I work for a bank. Money is not a project, it's a program that has to be used by a meaning. If you live for money, you're lost. You might become one of the 8. Maybe tomorrow one of the 5 richest on the planet. You will not have any chance to survive anyway. Because very soon she will come and ask you something. Because she's also part of the system. And that's natural. Knocking at the door. Don't be confused. The fact that she comes with a boat crossing the ocean, or might come with a flight crossing the lands, doesn't make a difference. So my proposal, my attempt to give my support to re-evolve, to do a re-evolution, is to talk about economy 0.0. Do you know the technique of the kintsugi? Okay. In Japanese culture, they are very awesome. When you break a plate, they're not going to throw it away. They're going to repair it with gold. And since that day, that piece of the pottery will be the most important one, thanks based on the fact that it's going to be unique. So, last questions. Economy is a tool or is a purpose? And again, the human being who are the main pillars in every economy systems are the tools or the purposes. And the profit, the only possible profit is just the for-profit or the no-profit approach, or there is a third possibility. I named it right profit in economy 0.0. If you go in the vocabulary, looking at the word right, you will find few epiphanies. Right means the right to make profit, first of all, because who makes profit is not necessarily someone bad. Right means correct, honest, good, sane, proper, right. So my proposal first is, you want to make money? It's fine. Do it in this way. It's fine. You don't need any economist telling you if you're in the new age of economy, in the old age of the economy, or whatever. 2, 3, 4, 5.0 is a bullshit. It's just a marketing approach to make something old appearing new. 0.0 is a reaction. You know, 0.0 is, let's go back to values. Me and her, we are the same, 2 zeros, with something between the point. In every company you will work, they will brainwash you, telling you about what's the vision is and what's the mission of the companies. Thank God if you work for a company having a vision and a mission, because the majority of the companies, they don't even have vision and mission. My provocation is, find someone to work with having a vocation, not a vision or a mission, a vocation. What's a vocation is, go on the vocabulary, is a particular sensitivity, an innate transport in living a certain kind of life that leads an individual to do some things rather than others, for whom he feels an inner transport. In philosophy, it is that call that makes you feel part of a universal project, each in their own specific domain. A vocation is moving from trying to be the best company in the world to be the best company for the world. It's a little tiny difference that is going to make a huge difference in her life. And her life is totally 100% connected with mine. So I have to dedicate my entire life, business, professional, and private, to her and to you. That's the only possibility I have. So, yeah, I have to finish. The proposal is, working in the future, please try to reach 3 necessities. As an offer, make profit. As a client, try to satisfy your clients, to make them happy and grateful. I'm sorry we don't have time to talk about gratitude, but please go in the vocabulary and look at the word, or the meaning, the etymological meaning of the word gratitude. And for the collectivity to get benefit from this transaction, and from the planet, possibly, actually today is necessary not to be damaged by your transaction. Go and run for these goals. That's the only way to perceive an object. And don't forget that those goals are not just a graph. They have to be in this order. At the very top, there's the 17th goal, that is collectivity. That means sustainability, interconnection. My final approach is, in the economy 0.0, to try to produce a difference on these 7 Ps. All of them interconnected. Person comes first. Then people, that stays for humanity. Then partnership. This is not just business partnership. It's any kind of relationship, interconnection. Then make profit. But the profit is right if it produces prosperity, not richness. Prosperity contains richness. Richness doesn't necessarily contain prosperity. And then please, and then planet, and then finally peace. And that day you should start again from yourself, because if you don't find the peace within yourself, there isn't a chance to create peace out of yourself. That's the reason why I founded this company, which is doesn't belong to the bank, obviously, because it's a private approach to life, that is named BY, that stands for Be Your Essence. And we'll try to impact the world on the 7 Ps, okay? We are designing the index with some American business schools. We may even talk with yours, who knows? Because this is the only reason why I think humans should live on this planet to make the difference. These are the new heroes I wrote in the book. Common people trying to impact the world just on their own sphere. Who cares what's your measure? Who cares? Since your measure is 100% governed by your desire to make a difference. So please go in the world and make a difference. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sorry.
So we have a small gift for Oscar Di Montigny
Not
to
really
thank
small,
him
but surely a gift.
for his wonderful presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Such an inspiring speech. We're all part of the future. We are all building our own future. So going to what Oscar said, make sure you use today to connect to other people, to the people that are in this room today. Behind your name, you also have the name of an animal. Go find the other animals. We all have different animals. It's a small thing to start networking and to start knowing people and to start creating our future. So again, thank you, Oscar, for the message.
And for those of you who were inspired by Oscar's message and Oscar's speech, you can also find his book, The Time of the New Heroes, just outside here, just in case you are interested in learning more and knowing more. And yes, network with your fellow animals. I am a gecko, so I will see you later, geckos. Awesome.
Okay, let's go to our second guest speaker. She's country manager for Alexa skills at Amazon in Italy. She's a colleague of mine since I work in Amazon as well.
And she's also leader at Women at Amazon, a group responsible for recruiting, retaining, and supporting the development of top women across all of Amazon's business. So please welcome Giulia Poli with a warm applause.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I really appreciated the invitation from Giovanni, one of the organizers. So thanks a lot, Giovanni, for giving me the opportunity to be in front of this very young, energetic crowd. And thanks a lot, Oscar, for your very inspiring speech and very nice messages. I have a small suggestion, if I can, on the 7 Ps, if we can add an 8th one, which is parity. As I'm going to speak about diversity, I'm basically going to focus a lot of what we've been doing, my experience, and mainly around gender parity. Now, a lot of companies are involved in this, and we are no exception. But it's just a provocation, of course. Many of the messages that Oscar mentioned resonate a lot with what's happening a bit everywhere, also in schools, but also in the society. I give you a brief introduction of who I am and then what I've been doing regarding diversity, and then we open up for Q&A. I don't want to basically stay here for 30 minutes to speak about projects, but I would like to keep this as engaging as possible. I was born and raised in Italy. I attended the Bocconi University, worked in a strategic consulting firm, moved to the US to do my MBA there, and then into finance, where I worked both in Milan and London. And I joined Amazon 4.5 years ago. I led the Kindle team for content acquisition in Italian language for 3.5 years. And right now, I'm part of the newborn Alexa business. By the way, how many of you know what Alexa is? Just, okay, good. It's a good, already a good perception. But as it was mentioned in the introduction, one of my hats is also about leading the so-called WomenNet. WomenNet is one of the affinities group that there is in Amazon. And basically, just like in schools, you have clubs for, I don't know, Latinos, entrepreneurship, and so on. Similarly, within companies, I guess mainly American companies or primarily American companies, you have clubs to help employees gather together and share an interest. And Women at Amazon is one of the clubs, and it's focused on gender diversity. I started with other colleagues, the Italian chapter, and from the beginning we decided that actually it didn't make any sense to have only, let's say, a gender parity club, only by women, to speak to women. That feels like a ghetto, and that doesn't work. Women need men to succeed, and vice versa as well. To give you an idea, until a few years ago, only 5% of women were represented in Italian boards. And as probably the Italian of you in the room knows that in Italy now there is a law which basically imposes to listed company to have a quota of women in boards. And thanks to the law, the participation of women increased. Now, if we have 50% of the population is women, but only 5% is in boards, I think we all can gather a certain understanding that something is wrong and broken. And any minority doesn't want to be chosen because of the minority. Women, minorities, they want to be selected because of merit. And so anyone that now today works in a company becomes more and more aware of these topics because they are part basically of a new wave that is happening across businesses and across society. That with education, obviously, all women have access now, together with men, to the same tools, skills, and ways to develop their competencies, and they should, at the same time, have equal access to opportunities. As part of this journey, so not only we created a group that has been, since the beginning, men and women working together, but the idea was also to create programs regarding inclusivity. And inclusivity means having behaviors, but also any event, any opportunity that is not dedicated just to one part of the company populations more than the others, but to attract everybody. Ultimately, a lot of companies want to have like parity, same number of women and men, which is very difficult to achieve, especially at top levels. And they try, for example, to hire more women. Let's hire more women so that we fill the gap. But that doesn't necessarily work, especially if you don't create a culture where women feel welcome, where they feel they can grow. It's like you want to seed orchids, but then your soil is not right for orchids. So guess what? The orchids will die. And metaphorically, women will leave eventually, or they will not succeed. So it's the same way. You need to do both. Yes, you need to plant orchids, but also you need to create the soil that makes it favorable for everyone to participate. And there are small things that each of us can do. For example, when you organize parties, when you organize team of sites, there are certain activities that appeal more to some people rather than others. And it's a good idea maybe to check with everybody what they prefer. Or there are some traits that are typical for some gender rather than other. For example, speaking out in meetings and so on. And so we have now inclusiveness tips in every room to make sure whoever is organizing the meeting can make sure that everybody that is participating, regardless of gender, of ranks, and so on, has the chance to express an opinion. Because it's always like that, right? There are meetings, and there are 2-3 people that tend to take over the room and participate more. You need to basically go consciously into the direction of favoring more inclusiveness. Not because the single person doesn't want to be inclusive versus others, but because our brain and the way we behave brings together the fact that thousands of years ago, we were fighting in savannas and forests, and we had to identify enemies very quickly. And to make this snap judgment, you are an enemy, you are a friend, we basically built over time the fact that if someone is similar to me, I prefer this person. If someone is very different from me, I don't like this person. And that's true also if you think about when you go to a party and you meet someone and you relate and you click, then you feel like, wow, I like this person. And in companies, that can happen as well. You meet someone and you get along, and then you want to meet again this person and so on and so forth. And then guess what? If you are somehow connected to this person for career advancement opportunities, promotions, and so on, you tend to favor this person, even though you want it to be fair. But instinctively, unconsciously, you actually have a bias. So I don't know how many of you have heard of unconscious bias. If you can raise your hands. Okay, a good amount. I have a small video now. That was to wake everybody up. Okay. I have a small video now to explain quickly what's unconscious bias in the field of gender. Please. Ready for the video? Can you have the audio as well? If I ask you, do you have a gender bias? You say no. Everybody is fair. Let's watch the video
Father
together.
and son are driving a car. They get into a car
There is no video.
The dad dies.
Sorry, can you...
The son gets rushed into A&E.
Yeah.
No. The surgeon says, I cannot operate.
Yes, can you please start again and full
Show the
screen?
video.
Thank you.
Thanks. No, there is no video, sorry. Can we go again? Yeah, 1 second.
Father.
Let's wait. 1 second for the video. Otherwise, we move on and we go for the Q&A.
While we set up the video, can please all women stand up in the room? All women stand up. Stand up. Okay, okay, quite a lot. Okay,
that's a good representation.
That's good. It's quite a lot. All women. So, are you confused? I mean, it's not a problem, but. Yeah, parity. It's not a problem. Okay, okay, sit down, please. Then all men stand up, please. Good, good. Now he's standing up as well, so he wants to be
with everybody.
Good. I think we have quite
a fair representation.
Quite a fair representation. Now, please, all women stand up again, and we are standing up. Please always consider we are including everyone. I'm doing inclusion.
The video works.
The
Somebody
video works.
Gives me
Let's go for the
thumbs
video.
Up. Thank you.
Father and son are driving a car.
Let's go back so we hear the audio. Can we go back, please, so that we see from the beginning the video and... Okay. Thank you.
Father and son are driving a car. They get into a car accident. The dad dies. The son gets rushed into A&E.
Yeah.
The surgeon says, I cannot operate. This is my son. Who's the surgeon?
Oh my gosh!
Well, it could be his biological father because he's adopted.
The father of the boy.
A ghost. A priest.
The surgeon's the dad.
The farmer.
The father died, so
yeah,
can't be the father.
It's time to God to say.
God?
The wife had an affair with the surgeon.
Either his stepfather or biological father.
His brother.
Surgeon's the mother.
Oh my god, yes! It makes so much sense.
Damn! Oh, that's so annoying!
That's terrible, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh my gosh!
Ah, okay.
Oh, yeah, obviously, and we all automatically assume that the surgeon's a man.
That's it. So I'm just between you and the break, so I would like to open for questions. Feel free to ask.
Yes, raise your hands. I will bring you the microphone. So please, we'll take up to 3 questions. So I see one. Let me run down.
Thanks. Hi. So I have a question. I don't remember which company it was, but I remember that if you talk about cognitive and about training bots like Alexa, that it had a bias as well. That it was for, I think, about job interviews, that it biased, I think, men over women out of candidacy papers. So how can we overcome this? What is your thought about this?
Yeah, it's a great question. So basically, what we do is we review actually the way jobs postings. I tell you what we do in the company, right? We review people, really, like me, other people. We review job postings, so how we write job postings, because we know that there are some words that, although we unintentionally, basically, we put words in the job postings, in the way the job is described, that can be sounding, let's say, more aggressive, more appealing to some genders versus others, and automatically or unconsciously can make the job more attractive than for genders, for a certain gender, for example, for male applicants rather than others. So we review exactly the words, how they are. It's not only saying he, she can apply, he, she, blah, blah, blah. It's not only about that. It's also about the adjectives and the way you describe the role. Because, as you know, again, back to the thousands of years ago, men were hunters and women were staying in the cave, but more or less, right? So that then makes typically commercial roles. Nowadays, it's not always like that, but in many commercial roles, a lot of men find them appealing because they find themselves in a new hunting situation. And the aggressiveness that can be in certain adjectives can make it more appealing than for men, to give you an example. That's the first thing. The second thing is like we do have a way in Amazon, we call it to make basically the recruiting. We want also the recruiting to represent our effort, and we have at least one female, but sometimes even more, female interviewer. So the loop has to be both with male and female interviewers. That's not because we want female to select females. That's not the way we want. We want the bar to be the same for everybody, because it has to be meritocratic. But for sure, different people see different things. And since gender is an important differentiation, female parts of the loop will see in the candidate different things, which can be in favor or not in favor of the candidate, but for sure they will have a way to analyze the candidate performance in a different way. So that's another approach. The third approach, which is to eliminate biases, is that whenever we have to write the performance of the candidate, we don't know what the other interviewers are writing regarding the performance of the candidate. So it's not that we go into the room and we start saying, who thinks this candidate is good? And then people raise their hands, because then typically what happens is people will look for the most senior person in the room or the person that has a lot of personality and try to align themselves to that person, because that's a normal human behavior. So we do it through a system. It's blind, basically. You write your genuine performance review on the candidate, whether you are inclined or not. You write it up, and then there is a discussion. Moreover, during the discussion, we have a person that is called bar raiser. Is someone completely different from that team that is hiring, someone, let's say, external from the team, but obviously from the company. And that person will make sure that there are no biases toward hiring or not hiring the candidate, and that we are hiring at the right bar, actually above the bar raiser. I hope I addressed your question.
Thank you so much for the question. And do we have any more questions?
Yes, one here. One here in the front.
Oh, here. Oh, one in the front.
One and one.
One here, okay.
Thanks, Julia, for the talk. Obviously, you talk about culture.